sunk an enemy destroyer. Action station.
Hey team, this is Ripper here. Hope you guys are doing fantastic today. Got a finally good review on the San Martin, and finally got the ship just a few days ago. And I have to say, it is interesting and unique. Before we begin, like, subscribe, bell button low. Those who support the channel, if you like the content and what we're doing here, smash that like button and share the word and spread the word about how we're building a community here and have a blast learning from it as well. So let's get right to it. San Martin. Look at it, it's pretty beautiful. If you don't know the history of this thing, this printing was pretty much, I'll read the history as they're talking about online, is after World War II, Argentinian leaders planned ordering construction of new cruisers in the UK or the USA. Main requirements for the main guns to be dual purpose. Most suitable for this parameters are cruisers of the Worcester class, and one of these ships could have been San Martin. And if you look at it, it pretty much looks like a Worcester, just different guns. AP shells only, and has torpedoes. Now look at this attack here. You kind of see how we're going to use the torpedoes in this regard. And look, we're taking a lot of damage, and I'll tell you why that is in a minute. But just look at what we're doing here. We're taking a bold move. The shells, 1 penetration, 4 ricochets. Not the greatest angles, but, I mean, he's really angled pretty heavily right there. And boom, splash 1. He goes down. Devastating strike with the torpedoes. That's the power of what the torpedoes can do if you can survive the onslaught. Now, the reason why this thing is so survivable, it's got the zombie heal and a consumable that has more of the, this is like that super ship kind of mentality where if you shoot more shells on target, you land the shells, and you can see right there near the middle bottom screen there, you can see the F key that's the consumable, which as you hit the target, it starts building up. You can see my cursor reticle. You see that half moon shaped arc. It's filling up slowly, and as you continuously hit the target, and boom, we kill the second guy right there after we die. If I had gotten that heal, I could actually re-heal the ship, and it's that zombie heal that we've been talking about. Now this gameplay right here, now again, I'm just showing a bunch of B-rolls because I'm gonna be honest right now, it is so difficult nowadays to find any good videos and randoms, because guess what, I think PQ and Sea Lord Mountain Bat and the guys I watch a lot, they're pointing out a good fact is a lot of people just don't want to play the game or are too scared to play the game, where everybody's hanging out in the back and really not pushing, really just long range shooting, kiting away, even turning away at the beginning of the map. So I'm sorry, that's just the way the meta is today in the World of Warship kind of arena, and it's sad to see the state of the game this way. So we're going to have to be the ones that make a change. We're going to adapt and overcome and kind of push up and make something of it. Now, look at that. I'm getting some citadels like there on the Edinburgh, but that's not really not much to brag about. Edinburgh's really a squishy ship, and the AP shells, that's all you got to work with. They're okay. I would say it's this whole ship and bottom are TDR, LDR is... and honestly, it requires a kind of a steep learning curve. Even with the super zombie heal, this takes a little bit of patience, a little bit knowing how the ship operates, a little bit of timing, how to understand how the guns work, and understand how where you fit in the map, especially if you're getting shot at. How do you get an angle against it? How are you going to use time and using your consumables at the correct moment? And you can just see watching this as we're shooting the Schlieffen, the shell arcs and the angles, and just look at what we're kind of getting. We're kind of getting all over the place. We're getting overpins, penetrations, non-pins, ricochets. Again, this thing is like a Worcester with just AP shells and has torpedoes. And I'll just read off the stats as I'm shooting the Schlieffen here. The biggest thing is, I'll put up the stats in a bit, but the San Martin ranks 15 in today's World of Warships, with the current meta setup today as of September 13th that I've seen it, it's showing us at number 15 for AP shell damage. So not the greatest. There's other ships that do a lot better AP damage. You got basically, 152 millimeter guns. AP damage DPM is 340,000, which is nothing to gawk at when you got things like the Annapolis, Smolensk, Minotaur getting way up in the 5s, 800,000 ranges. So, or 600, 700,000. Sorry, I didn't mean to gloat there, but yeah, you're talking about 5 to 700,000, and you're only get 340 with this, just AP shells only. Range is 15.5, and if that's, I built it for a gun reload build. Reload is 6.6 seconds base, so I'm not really liking the reload. I wish it was a little bit better, a little faster, for especially what you're trying to do. Not sure if it's going to be too powerful if that happens. Sigma is 2.05, so you get a little bit of good dispersion. Flight time is 7.5. 800 meters per second is the shell velocity. I don't really like that. I mean, I wish it would be faster, because you got ships out there shooting, destroyers shooting 1,000 meters per second. So, I mean, Haraguma shoots 1,000 meters per second. I wish it was a little faster, but a little bit of slow shells, 800 meters per second. Not the highest damage, 3,400. Let's see what else. Torpedoes we already talked about. The 2 sets of 5. Not the greatest DPM. They're 10.5 kilometer range, which is more for what you saw earlier, where it was really just kind of hey, am I going to just torp somebody and YOLO it in? That 17.5 is the base damage. And reload is 106 seconds, so 90 plus seconds-ish. Detectability is 1.3 kilometers, which means it gives a reaction time of 7.5 seconds. So you get a lot of time to see these torpedoes. So this is not a torpedo cruiser at all. It's really just for, hey, you got torpedoes in case someone bum rushes you, or if you got to do YOLO like you saw earlier. AA's trash, not going to talk about it. And of course, the ASW strikes are, as always, just as ASW. Submarine. I got shotgunned earlier in this thing, so it's not the greatest either regarding that. And it's only AP shells, so I don't know what else to gawk out. But let's talk about the consumables. Now, going back to the armor survivability, the armor is just trash. Like, it's a booster, right? I mean, it's really easy to overmatch with tier 9, tier 10, 11 above, and you're going to get smashed a lot unless you angle and know the timing. If you see the indicator pop and you're going, oh, man, I'm getting shot at, like you see I'm doing right here. I'm dodging shells left and right just by slowing, starting, and just doing the best I can, and just kind of baiting these ships to fire at me. And I've seen a lot of overpins now. If you go full broadside, they will get those overpins because the shell won't have enough time to arm. It'll just go straight through. A lot of people don't understand some of the mechanics. I think Flamu does a great video about it. I think there's a number, I believe it's like 14.3 or something along those lines, or you go look it up. Flamu talks about it, but there's an arming time and distance, and it's basically how much armor has to be there in order for the shell to arm and then explode, right? But if shells don't have enough time to arm, meaning the armor is too thin, it just goes straight through you like butter. So that's the cool thing about the Saint Martin and the Worcester class. We're shooting against a Venezia as well as the what's this other? The Marceau, that's right. Marceau. So the cool thing about this is the detectability of things is down to 9.1, and the radar is 9.0. So very, very good in the regards of stealth radaring. Not necessarily stealth radar, but as soon as you get detected, boom, you can pop it and you can reveal whatever's detecting you right then and there. So I think that's a really cool feature. We'll show that in a minute. But look, we're just taking on the Marceau, and boom, we kill the guy right there. Not really much to gawk at. Now we're going to shoot the Venezia. Now you notice, look at the heal. Consumables active right now. It cuts down the heal time super quick. The reload, everything brings it back down to about maybe bearable reload rates. Rather than 2 minutes you're waiting, you're only really waiting for maybe 15-ish seconds. And look, we got our heal again, and we can, boom, heal right away again. Look at all that damage. Now, it ranks in the top one, or the highest, of reload or repairing damages. As you can see right here, the Citadel, repairing Citadel damage, it repairs 80% of Citadel damage healed, which is incredible. But the problem is you have to be able to time it correctly because you don't have much HP pool to work with here, but it heals the most out of any cruiser as of right now if you can get the consumable up and ready to go. So right now, look at the reload right now. All the heal is 2 minutes and 50-ish seconds, right? It's a long time to wait. But look, I got the consumable ready to go. Boom, I pop at 23-second reload. So you're going to have to learn how to, I would say, save those consumables when you really need it. Have it ready to go. Have the heal ready to go. So what I do is I normally just spam a ship with HE, get that consumable ready, and don't use it. I'll have a heal ready to go. As soon as, boom, I'm taking damage, I heal right away. And then when I need it, I pop the consumable, and I have another heal ready to go. So that's how this thing is a zombie ship, where it's just easily survivable. And you see the torpedoes almost getting there. And then here's a demonstration of, look, we got detected. We get within our 9-kilometer range, and 9.1, and boom, we pop the radar, and we reveal the black. So right now, you can see how it handles against destroyers. I would like to see this thing handle destroyers a little bit better, but the HE, without HE, is just a hit or miss. I mean, look, we're taking some overpins, penetration. It's just going right through the ship. It's not having enough time to arm. But when it does connect and it arms correctly at certain angles, man, this thing actually takes a wallop. And look at that. A lot of overpins with a 2,800 damage. Is not nothing to gawk at, but still, it's really 3,000 damage there, and we're doing some major damage mopping up this black right there, and that's how that worked right there. So you can see how this kind of is a good destroyer hunter because of the low concealability, 9.1, and the radars are 9.0. So right, boom, right then and there. If you see that you're taking, a shot or damage, you can really use that to your advantage. Kind of like Ragnar style of gameplay, where boom, you get spotted, pop the radar, and you reveal the ship. Right here, as you can see, we're kind of supporting our destroyer in this kind of regard. I like the fact that if you're a cruiser player, you should be able to support your DDs with your radar, your hydro. You got a lot of heals, good torpedo, good, but I would say average torpedoes. If you need to use it for capping, because it's 10.5, it goes outside your radar detectability or concealment range, so that still is a plus. But I'm not going to rely heavily on the torpedoes. A couple other things to talk about on the San Martin. It has Very good angles. I would say the angles for the guns are, let's see here, to get all 4 guns, let's see here. If you want to get all 4 guns, 30 degrees of angling is great. I mean, you just got to be 30 degrees to a target, and boom, all guns are on, 100% for all 4 guns. And the back turret is a 360 turret, which is also a plus, so you can kind of charge a potential enemy and not be worried about the full 360 turn guns. The middle gun is only about 2 barrels, so hit or miss. It's a weird kind of a setup or gimmick. So I don't know. It's interesting. I wouldn't put rely too heavily on this. Now, what do I recommend this ship? I would say yes. For if you are a cruiser player that is looking for a zombie kind of mindset, but requires a little bit of patience and technique, then I say this is the ship for you. If you're a person that likes to drive in there or camp or hide or be a cruiser player that's like camping around islands, trying to hold an objective nose in, then I wouldn't recommend this ship because this ship is not designed for that. What this ship is designed to do is push. This is a pushing ship because with the 360 turn in the back, AP only shells with the heavy consumable, torpedoes, heavy heel, and it's got radar that is literally just 1.1 kilometers short of your detectability, and the potential of AAs there. I mean, you can build for. I'll try building for A and see if it actually does play a factor. I did get one game with 28, airplanes shot down, but I would say that if you want to play that kind of gung-ho mentality of pushing in with heavy, no regard for getting shot at, then this ship is for you. This thing is a beast. It's fun. It's just completely, I would say, randomized because you don't know what you're going to get if you're just going to constantly push in. But if you want to do the normal sit in the back or camp at an island and just sit there and guard something, then this is not the ship for you. You could find other things like the Petro or the Moskva or the Stalingrad. Notice I said all Soviet cruisers there. But the St. Martin's more of the Worcester-style gameplay with a super heel. And if you like that kind of gameplay, then this is the ship. I would definitely try to get it. It's really good. You can grind it in the tech tree. It's not that hard to get. I mean, it's easy to grind up the points, use free XP. That's what I did. And you're going to see right here, here's the problem right here. So you got to nose in Seattle, which we really should be able to just destroy this guy. I mean, the Seattle is not nothing to gawk at, but it's not really the most powerful ship either. I mean, the armor's weak as well, but, I mean, look what we're doing to this thing. It's really difficult. I mean, we're getting overpins, ricochets. I mean, even angled in, all we have to work with is AP shells, and I'm not afraid of him because now the cool thing about this is, too, if you angle the ship correctly, you can deflect a lot of shells. And thanks to the new Wargaming update, you can see how the shells are actually deflecting off of our ship and just bouncing up in the air and exploding. That's showing you how the mechanics actually work, where the arming time is just not there. So if you see a shell ricochet off a ship and go right through it, then blow up later, I mean, that didn't have enough time to arm. The ricochet angles are also being displayed in full because you're going to see that if we're angled, you see as the shells come in, they actually bounce off the ship and then explode in the air. So you're seeing a lot of the mechanics right there where you're seeing shells go through the ship or shells bouncing off the ship and exploding later. You're seeing a lot of cool mechanics that Wargaming actually puts attention to detail to, which I think is great. And it really displays the ability for you to use tactics and techniques to avoid and mitigate damage. So, as you can see right here, we're just going to farm the Seattle. And there's nothing I can do other than just sit here and farm. Can't switch to HE, don't have it. Torpedoes don't really reach that far out. He's about, what, 12, 13 out? I mean, our torpedoes are 10 and a half. So this is all I can really do to guard this cap. And it's kind of boring. Honestly, without HE shells, this is all you can really do. But you know what? We're getting damage and we're resetting the cap. The ASW you can see right there doesn't go out as far. I believe it's only about 8.5-ish. I'm gonna take a look at the stats for you, and then while we blow up the Seattle, one more shot right there. And do we get it? And oh man, we got a torpedo, or I mean, sorry, a depth charge hit ASW, and come on, a couple more shells to get the Seattle out of here. And you can see this is pretty much the gameplay of the St. Martin. And boom, there he goes. He goes down right there. So that's that kind of that gameplay style. Let me get the airstrike. Yeah, the airstrike's only 8 kilometers, so not going out too far. But let me know what you think is comment below. Do you think this is a viable ship? Is this another replacement for Worcester? I have seen St. Martin in clan and rank battles, so it actually is used in competitive a little bit more. So it's really that super heel that's selling this ship, and that reload, the super heel, and the consumable reload rate. So Let me know. The build is at the end. I didn't have much of a commander to build this thing full up, but let me know what your thoughts are about building it. What would you do with it? Do you think this is viable? I definitely say thumbs up if you would like a Worcester style super zombie ship kind of healing thing, or if you don't like this thing, let me know as well. So hope you guys are doing well. Stay safe, and we'll see you out there. Cheers.